Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Amita Harari, and just before we start, I'd like to invite you to check out our new and improved website where you can find all of our latest content and events from the heart of the State of Israel. So please check it out and subscribe to ILTV.tv. And now, coming in today's newscast, incoming Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu deadline approaching with the new coalition meanwhile passing its first bill. With the government not yet formed, President Isaac Herzog already welcoming World Jewry, answering some tough questions. And looking for the most special Hanukkah gift? We have a great suggestion for you. Presumed incoming Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has only 2 days left to form a coalition government or be forced to ask President Isaac Herzog for one final 4-day extension. This as the coalition has passed its first bill meant to protect the incoming government from defectors. ILTV's Steve Leibovitz reports.
7 weeks after his Likud-led right religious bloc won a clear 64-seat Knesset majority in general elections, presumed incoming Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is still not ready to declare that he has formed a new government. Netanyahu now has less than 2 days to put together Israel's 47th government or try to get another 4-day extension from President Herzog. If Herzog declines, Netanyahu must swear in his government by next Tuesday. Meanwhile, the coalition has managed to pass its first bit of legislation. The law that is passed repeals a law passed by the outgoing government that allowed 4 members to break off from a Knesset faction without political sanctions. Now it will have to be at least 1/3 of the faction members. The law is meant to head off a potential group of as few as 4 disgruntled Likud MKs from being able to bring down the government. Several Likud members are upset that far-reaching concessions have been given to prospective coalition partners. The rush is on to pass additional coalition bills. The controversial proposal that would shift certain authorities from police to the prospective National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir is due for its first reading. The Knesset will also vote on the so-called dairy law, which allows anyone with a criminal sentence to be appointed minister, as long as the sentence does not include prison time. Dairy was convicted of tax evasion, but received a suspended sentence.
Acknowledging concern in the diaspora about the incoming government, President Isaac Herzog issued a pointed Hanukkah greeting to World Jewry. President Herzog said that he welcomes the earnest voice and tough questions being asked and presumed Prime Minister's Benjamin Netanyahu coalition government information.
It's no secret that the recent elections in Israel have left many Jews around the world asking real questions about belonging with our own collective. This is natural, and as Israel's president, I welcome these earnest voices which show just how much Israel means so much to all of us.
The president urged the Jewish world to judge the new government by its actions, reminding viewers that we're one people and one family.
I would like to remind us that reckoning with the tough questions has always been part of Jewish story and the Jewish way. Jewish tradition has always valued conversation, debate, because it allows us to learn from each other and work through the difficult questions so that they can grow stronger together.
Herzog also reiterated that Israel means a great deal to all of us and it's important to remain unified even when there are differences of opinion.
I believe that if we can put aside our reflexive reactions and show up with a willingness to honestly listen to each other, we will find that our many voices both within Israel and between our Jewish communities, are our greatest strength. My dear friends, let us remember this Hanukkah that our differences can make us actually stronger. On a menorah with 8 candles, there is room for us all. I wish you all a beautiful, illuminating, warm and joyful Hanukkah. Chag Hanukkah Sameach.
Israel launched airstrikes against targets near the Syrian capital Damascus overnight. This is according to the Syrian State News Service, which indicated that 2 people were injured. In line with its policy of not commenting on air raids in foreign countries, the IDF army has yet to comment. Israelis living in the north reported seeing missiles or planes heading towards Syria. Syria says that IAF jets launched missiles at Syria while flying over the Sea of Galilee. Syria claims that it shot down several Israeli missiles, although Israeli military and analysts rejected the claim. Syria admits that the airstrikes caused considerable damage. While Israel does not comment on specific strikes, the Air Force has admitted to conducting hundreds of sorties against Iranian-backed groups in Syria, as well as weapons convoys en route from Syria to Lebanon. Airstrikes also routinely strike Syrian air defenses. Officials in Paris condemned Israel's deportation of convicted terrorist and French-Palestinian lawyer Salah Hamuri to France. Hamuri is accused of terrorist offenses and he has been detained since March. Hamuri served 6 years in prison for plotting to murder Chief Rabbi Ovadia Yosef until his release as part of the deal to free IDF soldier Gilad Shalit in 2011. The French Foreign Ministry issued a statement condemning the Israeli move, calling it unlawful. The statement said that Paris has been fully mobilized to ensure that the subject's rights are respected and that he can return to Jerusalem, where he had his residency revoked by Israeli authorities. And now, with more on the deportation of Salah Hamuri, is CEO and founder of the Shurat Adin Israel Law Center, attorney Nitzana Darshan-Leitner. Hi, Nitzana.
Hi, Amit.
So let's start with a basic question. According to international law, is it legal for Israel to deport a French-Palestinian lawyer and Jerusalem resident, even if he is a convicted terrorist?
Absolutely. Because a convicted terrorist, he was supposed to leave the country and be deported. According to the Israeli law, and according to international law, and according to a lot of laws around the world, which we'll get into it, a terrorist has no right, if the law says that, to remain, to stay in the country. The citizenship was changed accordingly because of this horrific wave of terrorism the Palestinians launched against Israel. And as a result, Israel took measure of steps to protect itself. One of them is really to deport non-citizens from Israel. Why non-citizens? They tried to deport citizens, but unfortunately the Supreme Court did not allow it, especially if the citizen does not have alternative citizenship. In this case, in the Hamuri case, the terrorist has citizenship in France, has French citizenship. He only was a resident in Israel, and therefore Israel could deport him to the country where he is citizen of.
Nitzana, the French government and the United Nations have already sounded harsh legal objections. Many more voices are expected. Outgoing Interior Minister Ayelet Shaked, for example, said she wants this policy to continue. Can Israel do it with other dual national terrorists?
So this is the problem. First of all, I want to tell you that French and the UN are harsh when it comes to Israel. When it comes to protect their own country, like France, they have laws that don't allow any terrorist, even though he has French citizenship, to remain in France. So there's England and other countries. So Europe can protect itself, but when it comes to Israel, I guess they just agree that terrorists can terrorize a life in Israel, and Israel should not do anything against them. But back to your question, this is the issue. If a terrorist does not have any citizenship and only resides in Israel, Israel will have a problem to deport it. The Supreme Court came down with a decision a couple of years ago in a case of Jerusalem residents, Palestinians, that were elected to become ministers and parliament members in the Hamas government in Gaza. And despite the order from the Minister of Interior to deport them, the Supreme Court canceled this decision, saying that since they don't have any other place to go.